All right. So we are streaming over to YouTube.
Very cool. I could just go to the
Yeah, just go to the
Lon.TV and
YouTube
find that
page.
there.
Yep, and then Amazon is going live now. Okay. And this is why these reviews take so long to do on these headsets, because there's so much that you have to do to get them to do them. So, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So we are live here, and we'll just wait for a second for everybody to start coming in. So it looks like I've got 2 viewers on YouTube, now 6. It's like an exponential growth pattern. And then Amazon, nobody yet, but I'm sure we will get some in a minute. Let me just check and make sure that's working. You see the live stream on Amazon? Is that up and running?
YouTube looks good. I just refreshed Amazon. We're still kind of not up on Amazon, it looks like, but maybe it just takes
Oh, really?
a second.
Yeah, it isn't. So. There it goes. I see it now. You have to refresh the page, and we'll be up there.
Okay.
So, good. All right. So we will kick things off here and welcome everyone from YouTube. Now everybody. I got Jake here again. Say hello, Jake.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
And I got to fix your box because your box is all messed up here. So let me just reset your box. Oops, that's the wrong one. Hang on a second.
I am refreshing Amazon in the meanwhile here, and
okay. Yeah, I see you live on Amazon while I'm on it. I can send you the. Is it the wrong link? Let's take a look.
Shooting gameplay. Oh, never mind. It just went live.
Just started.
We're good now.
Okay. Great. All right. So everybody, this is going to be this is probably my most complicated stream ever. I have Jake calling in, who's going to take your questions. And let me reset his box here. So, oops.
Hello, everyone.
Box 2. Okay, here we go. Reset Jake. There we go. Okay. So Jake is going to take your questions, and what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be inside of this headset and unable to see your questions. So that is what we're going to do here. And what we're going to do is actually try out a bunch of stuff, because this just got updated with this. This, by the way, is the Oculus Quest 2. I bought this recently. I was a big fan of the Quest 1, and I like this one better. It's more comfortable. It's easier to set up, higher resolution, better processor, higher frame rates. And that's the big deal, because they just pushed down an update to bring this up to 90 hertz. So what we're going to be doing today is capturing some footage for an upcoming video that I am working on. So we'll check it out. And it looks like we got Olivia in the Amazon chat, and Jenny said she just bought 2 of them. So she is already in. And what's neat about the Oculus Quest right now is that this is like the one gaming system that's new that you can actually find. So there's stock. I think you can get one version of this before the holidays even. So it's definitely a great gift idea. And I'm a big fan of this. I bought this. I bought the other one. I just sold the other one so I could have this one. So it's a great platform. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, first of all, get me linked up with this here. So we've got a little setup that I've got on the other side of the room. And we're going to try to stream this headset to my Google Chromecast. So I'm going to put this on real quick here. And what I'm going to do is just, right now I have a stationary Guardian. And let me just get this thing cleared out a little bit here. Let me go home. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, the first thing is I'm going to get this thing to stream itself to the Google thing. And by the way, Jake is going to read you my questions as I am going to be inside of this thing. So we're going to do our best here to accommodate all questions as we go. So I'm going to cast to my studio TV.
Jenny agrees. She says those are great and exciting presents.
And I agree with her. It is a great platform. Okay, I think we're good here. And yep, looks like I'm able to get that going. So Jake, you can see. So if you see this drop off, let me know. But I think we should be in good shape now.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right.
I'm hearing, it sounds like some ambient noise from
good.
Yep, must that's be what we should in the game.
Yep, and this is coming from the Oculus Quest. So I think we are good there. And let's see, can you see my, I was going to see if it's going to recognize my hands. Put these down here for a second. It does have hand recognition, although it doesn't seem to be finding my hands at the moment. We'll get back to that in a minute. So what I'm going to do here is go into my settings because, can you see the settings screen that just came up here?
Yep, yeah, that popped
Okay.
up and you got your pointer pointing at it.
Good. All right, so what I want to do, there's apparently a feature here to enable the 90 hertz, which is what we want to do. So let me go applications. I'm just trying to figure out where that portion is. And maybe the folks in the on the YouTube chat will be able to tell us where that is. Night display, enable Oculus link.
Tim
which we're
IT
gonna
Tech
do.
on Amazon says hello, and Jenny said she's almost tempted to buy a third, and it looks like she just bought a third.
Yeah, keep getting them. They're great. You know, and what's great about them is that you can find them right now, which is something you can't say about everything at the moment. So, all right. So why don't I see the 90 hertz settings here? Because that's what we really wanted to check out today was the 90 hertz. So let me go and pull this off for 1 second, and it should come right back up when I put it back on. Let's see, 90 hertz settings for Oculus Quest. All right, it opens, let's see. Quest menu by pressing the Oculus button on your right controller. Okay, I'm just looking through here. All right. Oh, so it looks like there's going to be a couple of things that I've got to do on the PC side when we connect, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's get the games going because I think that's what people are tuning in for. So we'll get this thing, get the show on the road, as they say. And I'll pull up my 2-up view here. I'm just going to move some windows around, and let's do it. I got a couple of games that I want to check out to begin with here, and I haven't played any of these yet, so this will be kind of a fun exercise. So let me go over here, and Jake, just keep feeding questions to me as we go.
All right.
Anything coming in on
Jenny
YouTube?
says she has lots of family members want one, so she's going to buy
Ah,
another
good.
one. And YouTube, we have lots of hellos. Hi, Lon. How's everybody doing? And Ultra asks, experimental?
Might be in the experimental, yeah. We'll take a look at that in a second. And I have the latest software update on this now, so we should be good there. Now I'm going to hit record real quick because, and it's funny, I can actually see the keyboard, everything through the headset right now. You can't see it on screen. But I am going to create a Guardian. And this will show you like how the process works. So Jake, do you see the thing that says Confirm Guardian right now?
Yeah, with the
Good,
black
perfect.
background and then that's up.
Yep. Good, okay, so we're gonna do that, and I'll confirm the floor. And now what I'm gonna do, I don't know if you can see me do this, but I'm gonna draw a line around my space, and this will ensure that I don't step on anything that will hurt me. So I'm basically defining a boundary, and my boundary is gonna be kind of small right now.
Yeah,
I just
Dan
set that up.
on YouTube says he believes they took it out of 90 hertz mode, or took 90 hertz mode out of beta, and it's now standard.
Oh, so it's just going to run that way. Okay. Well, I'll take his word for that then. All right, so we're going to go to my library here. And I think what I'm going to start with is a game called Space Pirate Trainer. Now, this is one I have played before, but this one is, I think, probably the most accessible VR game if you just want to get an experience, and if you have friends coming over, because it's not likely to make people sick. It's a stand-up game. You can move around. It's got some activity to it. It's better on the PC, but here it's not bad. Are you able to see everything, Jake?
Yeah, you see it, we got the audio a little bit loud in the game,
Okay.
but everything looks good.
Let me adjust the audio down a little bit. It is kind of loud, isn't it? So we'll bring down the audio just slightly. Is that better?
Yeah, I did go down just a little bit more.
Okay. Let me turn it down just a little bit more here. We'll kind of keep it under the radar there. Okay, I'm just going to stop recording there, and I'm going to start a new record session now. Okay. Put
While
this
you're
back
doing
on
that,
my head.
Blackbird022 on YouTube asks, are there games included with the headset?
Not really. No, there are some demos that you can get, but not many. And that this is really like it's a sales platform. So All right, let me just change gun mode here.
While you're doing
There
that,
we go.
Jose Rodriguez says the Oculus 2 is amazing. Daniel Morris says it's 90 Hz by default. Games will be 72/90 depending on game. The PC settings are for link. You can choose the Hertz.
Excellent. That is great. Thank you, everybody. All right, so high frame rate mode is off here. We're going to turn that on. Okay. Can you still see it, Jake?
Yes. Yeah, everything's looking good, sounding good.
All right. All right, so let's do this. Now, what's cool about this, this was the very first VR game that I actually played about 4 years ago. And I think what I might do, am I looking at the camera right now?
Turn to your left, or hold on, I'll look at it. That's perfect. You go very slightly to your right.
Okay,
half
like
a turn.
this. All right, let me just see if I can reset the, I just want to reset the camera angle here. Let's see.
And Chris Allegretta asks, I've been kept up with Oculus tech. Do they make Steam PC games work wirelessly, or is it still the lower horsepower games?
There is a way to do that. It looks like I'm going to have to do it this way, unfortunately, because I can't figure out how to reset my view here. Let me see if there's another button I can push. There is a way to do that, but it's not an official way. So there's some software that lets you play the games wirelessly. The problem, though, is you get a lot of latency, and that's always an issue. All right, so it looks like I'm going to have to turn my back on everybody, unfortunately, but this is like the, let me go into this mode. There we go. Now, it starts off easy, and your objective here, you can still see everything, Jake?
Yeah,
you got to dodge you got to dodge the bullets as they come at you. And then you have different things that you can do with your gun. So I can change the mode of the gun here, so you can see I can shoot like grenades at them. And then if let me go back to this mode, I can put a shield up here and get that guy. And this one's just a lot of fun because it's not going to make people sick. And this is called Space Pirate Trainer. And it's one of these things where it eases you into VR in a way that you're not going to get like all disoriented. And it looks good. I mean, it looks better on the PC, but the core gameplay dynamic here is fine. And the difference with the Quest 2 is that this is running at 90 Hertz, so this feels closer in its responsiveness to the PC version, which also runs at that speed. And what's cool about this game is that you have such a ability to kind of see where things are coming at you from and dodge them. So you can see it kind of slows down into like bullet time here. And it's a good workout. There's games like Beat Saber and others that are very similar to this, and that you're always kind of moving around and on your feet. But this is like the perfect VR game to start off with. And it's called Space Pirate Trainer. And this one, again, the visuals look better on the PC, because I have it on the PC. But from a gameplay perspective, it holds up.
Yeah, HN Drum says Oculus has an app to introduce new VR users called First Steps. It teaches you all the basics with controllers and what you can do in VR. And there's a couple other comments mentioning hold down the Oculus button. So I would imagine that was for when you were trying to set it to face the camera.
Maybe I'll pause it real quick after I get killed. We'll do that for the next.
Ed H says you can tell Lon hates his job.
I really do. It's a horrible job. And I'll tell you, these days it's fun to have a job where I don't have to leave the house. And like I said, this is what I love about the Oculus stuff, and actually VR in general, is that I feel like it's been something that is totally underappreciated. And the Quest has been, I completed it, how about that? The Quest has been kind of the thing that is making it accessible to consumers. And you can buy this thing. So we're playing it right now without a PC, completely wirelessly. I have all this space that I set up that I can walk around in here. And this game, again, which was initially a PC title, runs great here. And the Quest is coming in at 90 Hertz, so you're getting the same frame rate. Again, a little lower graphic fidelity, but just as fun. And, you know, I can't think of a better way, and I'm not trying to sell this to you folks, okay? But like Christmas morning or Hanukkah morning, whatever, Kwanzaa morning, whatever you celebrate, you have this under your under your tree or whatever. This is fun. People are gonna have fun with this. It's like having a holodeck. And then if you have a computer that can handle it, it's even better because you get the PC experience with it as well.
Yeah, so Tech with Sean says, this looks nice, but the Facebook account linking really puts me off on getting one.
Yeah.
SMX wrote a comment saying, how do you feel about the Facebook account requirement?
So that is my only real complaint with it, is that it does require a Facebook account, and it didn't initially. And there's a whole story behind that. Let me get out of this thing real quick. Trying to figure out how to even get out of this. Let's see. Oh, the Oculus button's on the side there. Okay. So let's quit this real quick so y'all get a sense of that. And now we're back at the home screen here where we can find more stuff to do. Let me just stop recording real quick. And I'll talk about the Facebook requirement. Yeah, so you're required to have a Facebook account. Before you had an Oculus account, which was separate, but Facebook bought Oculus. And if you, I think they probably looked at the dynamics, and I'm going to talk about this in my review. I think Facebook probably did some market research and determined that people weren't going to be that upset about it. So they did it. And the problem is twofold. One, if you're not comfortable with Facebook, this is not the product for you. There are headsets that are made by Steam, by Valve, called the Valve Index for the PC. There's the HTC Vive. There's other headsets that you can buy for your PC. But this one is the best and I think only real standalone headset, and it is tied to your Facebook account. And there's some other things you have to keep in mind with it also, because the way they license the software, you can't run, my understanding is you can't run the same title on more than one headset per their terms of service. So if you bought 2 of these for your kids, you're going to have 2 separate accounts with 2 separate amounts of software. That's an issue. And then if you got yourself thrown off Facebook, that's going to be a problem also. So this is not a perfect platform if you're not happy with Facebook. If you're okay with the Facebook thing, I think there's no better way to get into VR than this. And believe it or not, there's actually some really good workouts you can do with this. We're not doing that today, but they've got, they got a lot of, the fun ones are like the boxing games. Beat Saber is a lot of fun. I think I have Beat Saber as a demo in this one. I have it on the PC. So let's take a look and see what else we've got here.
Yeah, that leads into another comment relating to that. HN Drum says, Oculus Move app can now track your fitness, movement, calories burned, etc. while you use the Quest. It breaks it down by game. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, there's some cool stuff that you can do with fitness on it. And I'll tell you what, I have this game, it's called, there's a boxing game on the PC. I think it's available on this also. Let's see if I have the demo here. It is so fun, and it's a workout. It's a real workout. Here, let's do Vacation Simulator. Now, this is one I haven't played yet.
Yeah,
again, these are all. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
Sorry, it says that the Facebook thing is no-go for me. I'll be looking at other options. The off chance possibly that Facebook goes down, I'll be stuck with the useless device. And then there's another comment that says they corrected it. You can have multiple headsets on one Facebook account. And then Sean says that's more the DRM/being blocked from using it if glitches happen to your account, etc. that bothers me.
Got it. Okay, I'll look into that multiple headset thing, because I was under the understanding that they were not allowing that, but they may have changed the policy. We'll take a look. But yeah, you are tied. This is a Facebook product, and you will have to have a Facebook account to use it. And if something happens to your Facebook account, you lose everything you purchased on the Oculus side. So there are definitely some problems here.
Welcome to the Vacation
Okay, so let me just go. This is a really fun game. Now, I have the other one called Job Simulator. I'm just going to hit record here. I have the other one called Job Simulator, which is similar to this. So I'm going to create my game here.
Great. Now put it in the slot and pull the lever.
There's a lever, okay.
Listen.
Oh, there's
Daniel Morris and Ultra both say that Vacation Simulator has hand tracking support now, which is pretty cool.
It does? Okay, so let's try that. I think if I just put these controllers down, it'll hand track. Let's take a look. We'll wait for it to load up here and see if it detects them. So the other cool thing with the Quest is that some games, apparently like this one, don't require your controllers at all, because it will track your hands. And the other one does it also, the older Quest. And it's amazing. Yeah, this thing's running with a mobile processor. And let's see if I can wave my hands in front of it here to get it to recognize it. I think it still has these controllers on. So let me turn this off real quick and see if I can...
Before you vacation, we should learn how to talk to bots.
Let's see if I can switch to the hand controllers here. And I'm not sure how to do that.
While you're doing that, we have a comment from an anonymous user on Amazon who asks, are there any non-game programs that would be great to use with the system?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Are there any non-game programs that would be great to use with the system?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of experiences. We'll jump through the store in a little bit here, too. I think I have one of them on my list here. And if I don't, I know it's on the store. There's like a space station, Mission ISS, where you can actually float around the space station and take a tour of it. Maybe I'll install that in the background while we're doing some stuff here. Tilt Brush by Google is a 3D painting application. That's a lot of fun. There's a Puppet Fever thing. I think I got this for my kids. I'll have to try that out later. Netflix and YouTube are on here. I think a number of other experiences are there as well. So there's a lot of stuff. If you're not into games, there's a lot of experiences that you can do on here. Google Maps has something pretty cool as well. Now I'm just going to put these controllers down because it does support hand support. Let's try it out here and see what happens. So let me put those down. And I think if I put my hands out, there we go. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you got it. Okay, yeah, because HN Drum said you might have to turn it on in the settings. And then Blackbird02022 asks, will this cause a feeling of seasickness?
Generally not. And here's what I found with it. Okay, so I need to use this gesture to teleport. There we go. I've found, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to do here. Walk forward. There we go.
You really nailed the standard human greeting protocol. Now for the fun part.
All right, let's see what happens here
Let's
next.
take a peek inside your suite.
So what I have found with VR in general is that if you're new to it, the standing games are the ones that, like this one. This is a great one to start with because you get a feel for it, but you control the movement. So when you walk around here,
make sure you look relaxed. Head into the bathroom to personalize the way you look. Every human starts as a blank slate. You can be the you see in yourself.
where do I see myself? Human Appearance Customizer 3000. Let's see. Well, you can move this up and down. What if I could have it do my hair? How's it looking, Jake? Okay?
Yeah, it's coming in. Looks very nice. We have comment from Jose Rodriguez, says Skybox is an excellent app. And HN Drum says Mission ISS is not for new VR users. You can quickly get sick. I guess it's true in real life.
That one you float around a little bit. So that one may not be the run. But like I said, I think like something like Vacation Simulator here is a good way to start. Because what's nice about it, let me see if I'm trying to figure out the gestures here. What's nice about it is that you're standing up.
Check out the bathroom. That's where you can customize your look.
I don't want to customize my look. I just want to play the game here, folks. Let's see. Let's go. All right. I guess he wants me in the bathroom. All right. So. There we go. Okay. So I had to customize
Monty
my
G
look
asks, I'm curious if a lot of the VR games require you to stand/walk. I probably have a problem with that.
Yeah, not all of them do. Honestly, there's a game for every position. There's actually a group, and I have to find it. There is a group that's been working on making VR more accessible through Steam on the PC side. So you have that. Let me just go back here and adjust some more. So this is like the color of my bandana thing here. Just kind of come up with some crazy colors to make my character work. There we go, a little green beard, that looks pretty cool. And then let's go back here. I can adjust my skin tones. I can do all sorts of cool stuff. I wanted to see like some funky skin tone. I wanted like purple or something. Can I make it like this with this? That's the color of the bandana. Yeah, I'll make myself like this bald dude. That'll work. Okay, so we'll go with that. Yeah, so I'll say, because I've done a lot of PC VR, you know, I would say that this is... Oh, I just took the beard off. I don't want to take the beard off. The resolution is not as good here, but the frame rate is. And it is a lot of fun to be able to just use your hands as opposed to using the controllers. It feels a lot more natural. I'm on a scale here, looking good. Okay.
Yeah, Ultra
right,
says stationary games like this and Beat Saber are no problem. And Christopher P says Super Hot is for new users, in his opinion. And then B. Mansky asks, does the Quest 2 look good inside the headset?
I think they called it a backpack.
Let's see here.
Wow, human, you look really torrid. Feel free to continue exploring your suite. I'll be outside when you want to check out the rest of Vacation Island.
All right, so let's go check out Vacation Island, huh? So yeah, so I think, like I said, I think the standing ones are better to start with. I do agree Mission ISS is probably not the one to begin, but like something like this is really safe. Space Pirate Trainer that we looked at a few minutes ago, that one's pretty good too. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm supposed to get through the door there. Maybe I can walk forward here a little bit. And what's cool about these, and some games let you do more than others. Like this one doesn't want me walking beyond this carpet here. But if you have a big enough space, you can make this Guardian boundary larger, and you have all this freedom to just move around. And it's really, really fun. And some of the games are really forgiving for that kind of thing. So the Star Wars game, which we can look at in a minute, that one has a lot of cool environments that you can explore. All right, and why can't I go where that thing is over there? Take me to your thing here.
Why are you doing that? Sally on Amazon asks, is the Oculus Quest 2 the best VR experience? If not, which VR headset you have tried wins that award with money as no object?
So money as no object is a tough one because, let's see if I can get these controllers. The controllers feel a little bit more elegant, believe it or not, than the hands do. I would say I like the Quest because from a consumer standpoint,
please only scan the hand.
Let me know if you're ready to vacation. And remember, waiting is the best way to talk to bots.
Okay, so I would say that the Quest is the best for a general consumer. HP has a 4K headset that I think is probably the best one, but you also need a really powerful computer to make use of it.
Requires metrics to prove the success of a project, which you seem to have conveniently forgotten. Luckily, I figured out a way to measure vacation. Quantified memory management.
Oh, efficiency bot. I should have known.
Here, human, take this wristband. It will be your key to unlock efficient, measurable fun. Efficient! Now use it on that scanner over there. Access denied. You don't have enough memories. Oh, yes.
There's a little chat on YouTube here talking about what games are good for, motion sickness and whatnot. And there's a comment here from Ultra mentioning teleport, and I think that is something you can do in some of those games where you have to do a lot of moving around and that sort of a thing.
That's right, and I'll show you that on the Star Wars game in a minute.
Vacation Island is open.
So you can walk to where you want to go, which of course you hit a boundary though, right? So like right now I'm at the edge of what I set for a boundary. And what's cool about the Quest 2, you probably can't see this right now, but when I break out of the boundary, its cameras are showing me my room. So you don't see that, Jake, right? Jake?
Sorry, I was muted. No, we don't see we see return to play area just popped up, but it doesn't show the room itself. No.
So what I saw in the headset when I stepped out beyond the boundary is it gives me my whole room, and I can see what I'm about to walk into, which is really nice. But yeah, teleport is probably a little better because what happens otherwise, especially in some of these 3D games, you're basically going to be moving like one of those first-person shooters, and that can be very disconcerting until you get used to it. So teleporting is a much better way to go about that. And now we got to figure out how to get moving here. Let's see. Just trying to get through one of these doors. There we go. And I think this game may actually have some teleporting too, so we'll take a look. Yeah.
Welcome to Vacation Beach. Humans came to the beach to reconnect to the moment they evolved to walk on land.
Ah, I see you're finally getting the hang of making.
Daniel Morris says that you can also double tap on the side of the headset and it will turn off room view.
I'm not not sure that
Oh, cool.
measuring vacations was
I kind of like the
great,
room view because
but
if I'm going too far, I know exactly where I'm about to
Zero
walk into.
simulations won't be satisfied unless we have clear metrics.
I don't think we're seeing screen to
And Christopher
screen
P
of
says,
this
I
one.
love that they don't allow you to
But
cast
I know a way to
pass-through
check
mode
among
for
the
privacy
zeros,
reasons.
There's a
Ah.
camera in your backpack. Try it out.
Okay, so I got to take a picture here. I think it wants me to. I haven't been paying attention to what instructions they're giving me. And you can pick up a lot of stuff in this game and just kind of move it
Take out
around.
the camera. It's in the side pocket of your
Oh,
backpack.
side pocket of my backpack. So I got to pull out my backpack maybe? There we go. Oh, there's the camera.
Don't grab. Just tap the button on the camera to snap a photo. Wonderful. Now this is vacationing.
There are plenty of actual memories to be made on the beach.
And I've heard you can find Botbeard's treasure at the dive site. Have fun vacationing your way, human. We'll see you later.
So they have another one like this called Job Simulator, which is, I think, a little bit more fun because there's less setup to it, which I don't have on the Quest, but I have it on the PC. And it's really kind of ridiculously fun. It's a really good little game. All right, so this, by the way, was just an example of teleporting. So you see that? And I can move to that spot without having to move that way, and that's a good way to prevent getting sickness. And you can see you have some degree of movement here also. I'm hitting my barrier wall, which is why it fades out. But within the environment, this is what's so cool about modern VR, is that you can walk around and get a sense for stuff. And if you've never tried VR before, one of the things that I really like about it is the fact that it's immersive in the sense that it's 3D, but it's immersive 3D. It's not like looking at a screen. You feel like you're about to touch some of this stuff. So it's really, really a lot of fun. So that is Vacation Simulator. And let's go
We have
home
a question here from Michael J. Heimer on Amazon who asks, can you use this with any Xbox 360 game or only with games that are specifically designed for the VR environment?
So that's a good question. There are ways in which you can play games on a screen. Virtual desktop is one of the things that lets you do that. The problem is that you get into a lot of issues with latency. So you're in many cases streaming the image to your headset, so it's not a perfect scenario. So I would say probably not the best way to play conventional games. You may have a little bit better luck with a PC headset with that because there's less compression. In many cases, you're moving video data directly over. But I would advise against it for the best experience. But there might be games that work well like this too. So, I would say for like the action-heavy games, probably not. Now this one's a lot of fun. We talked about this when we looked at the prior review of the Quest 1. And there's a new Star Wars game. This is the old one called Vader Immortal. And we'll take a look at the new one in a minute. But what I like about this one is the sense of immersion you get in the Star Wars universe and the amount of distance you can travel in the world. And this is available.
We have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let's load up. We have a question from Elham Sakura asking, how much is it?
So it's $299 for the 64 gig version. That's the one I have. And then it is, I think, an extra $100 for the 256 gig version. And I would say that if you intend on, the games are about 2 gigs a piece to give you an idea as to how many you could fit on it. And I do think they're going to get bigger as more development happens. Here's the deal with Oculus. Oculus developers sold more software in the first 6 months of the Quest's existence than they did in 4 years. And so there's a tremendous motivation to devote development resources to this platform. And as a result, I think you're going to see more games take up more space. And there's no way to add additional storage to it, of course. So you might want to go with that. All right, so they have 2 different modes here. We can look at the custom one maybe just to see what the options are. And you can kind of set some things for motion sickness, because this is a game that could get you that way. But we're going to do standard. Because there are some things, like especially when you're climbing ladders and stuff later in the game, that might make you feel a little woozy. How do I start the game here?
And Sally on Amazon asks, are there any games that look ultra photorealistic and make you feel like you're in a world?
Not so much on this platform. Some of the PC games are pretty close, I would say. so let's start here. There are some PC games that look pretty good, but you know, the resolution on these headsets is not spectacular, even on the PC side. The HP one is getting close to a much more photorealistic kind of look. The problem with the HP one, though, is that, yes, this is what's so cool about this.
We better move it, Captain. The Hutt's won their spice map. We gotta jump to hyperspace or we're dead.
So, yeah, hit these switches here. And then I think there's a button I have to push here or something. Let's see.
You really need to hit those bypass switches right over there.
There we go.
All right, hyperdrive controls are active. Make the jump to light speed. Nice one, Captain.
And what's so cool about this game is, like, you know, if you've ever seen some of this stuff at Disney World, this is like walking around Disney World. And you'll see in a minute they're going to light up the back of the ship here.
Shadow market. We are sitting pretty. You know, maybe then you can make those repulsor lift upgrades you've been promising me forever. You know, and forever. And ever. You know, it looks like we're going to be
JH,
This game
on
is
YouTube
called
found a
Vader Immortal, by the way.
Feel free to go back and check our loot.
JH on YouTube asked, "Have you played The Walking Dead on the Quest 2?"
I have not, although I'd imagine it would probably freak me out. All right, so let's just jump in here. And it's going to leave hyperspace in a second here, then we can explore the ship, I think.
Captain, I got this covered. Why don't you go back there and relax?
So
Back
now
to
here's
the
an example.
photorealistic games.
of-
Sorry, Ultra
yeah.
just says that VR fishing looks pretty photorealistic. Just back to
Yeah,
the
there-
whole
There are a
photorealistic
few.
game.
I would say from the standpoint of like photorealism, the challenge you run into is the resolution. Because like this is a mobile processor, and it's amazing it does as well as it does, to be honest with you, for what it is. The PC games, even with this same headset, look better. But you know, there's only so much resolution that these things are pushing right now, and there's only so much resolution that the GPUs can push. So even with like a super high-powered PC, it's still not going to be quite there yet, but you might get there with the HP thing. Now, by the way, here I can walk around the entire environment, and I'm only limited by the barrier that I set up, the guardian that I set up. So I can walk around like this, or I can do that teleporting thing.
Hey,
So, for
I need a hand
example,
with this. Can you come help me?
I can just hit the controller here, as you can see, and I can jump around. Then the other thing I can do is turn the stick here to get it straightened out, because I kind of have a narrow guardian set up. So you can see, you probably can't see it in here, but I can kind of adjust it so I have the longest length to walk here, so I have the most room. Let me just do it like this.
Hey, I need a hand with
So
We're
that's
doing that.
pretty
Michael
neat.
J. Heimer asks, "Where do you get the games for VR?"
Oh, scratch.
So you have to buy them from the Oculus
Damage
store,
right there. Well, I tried
and you
to
can buy them
reroute
right through the
power.
headset, or
Why
you can
don't
buy them on their
go ahead
website.
Scan
And some of the
ship.
games work on both. So for example, this game has a PC version that looks better, and if you buy this version, you get the PC
Alright.
one as part of the
I'm
deal.
still working on this.
So that's a good
Well,
deal.
looks like
And
we
you can
need
also
to
buy
try and
PC VR games through Steam, of
Alright.
course.
Let's switch to backup.
And she's going to have me do something here real quick. And this next part is pretty cool, so we'll go through this part, and then we'll try the new Star Wars game.
Switching to defense systems. Well, the deflector shields are totally offline. One more hit, and we would have been toast. Let's shut them down until we can get them repaired.
This part's pretty cool.
Something's wrong, Captain. Let's go
So
check
now I
it
could
out.
walk up front here, but I'm going to hit the end of my Guardian, so I can just teleport to that spot we were in before. Kind of like my captain's position. But it definitely has better resolution than before, but you're still limited by the mobile processor, so the detail is not as good as it is on the PC. And it's going to be hard for you to see in a stream like this, but...
Put us down in the Atreides sector.
Whoa, look at that. Here comes the Star Destroyer. And what's neat is you can see some of the detail on the glass up here also. But it's definitely an improvement over the Quest 1 for sure, resolution-wise.
Yeah, are the games more expensive than an Xbox game, or are they comparable?
They're a little less expensive. So what I found, like some of them they sell in episodes. So this is like a 3-part game, and they're about $10 a piece. So probably about $30 or $40 for the whole season. So they're not as they're less expensive than the Xbox games are, which is understandable too, because they're not as you're not going to get 50 hours of gameplay out of one of these. You know, they're more experiences. But to be honest, like your eyes are going to get tired. The battery only lasts about 2 hours on this thing, so it's they're shorter experiences, but they're a lot of fun. Especially like something like this, you get a real almost theme park quality Star Wars experience.
Yeah, and while you're on the topic of theme parks, Sally asks, this just hit me. Are there any VR tours, like a walkthrough of Disney World or a Disney ride or even a nature tour?
Not that I know of. There are a lot of nature tours and stuff. If you go through the Oculus store, you'll find a lot of these experiences. So there are some of those. There's not like any theme park stuff that I'm aware of, which is unfortunate because it'd be really great to have that right now. I'd love to just have like an Epcot thing to walk around Epcot or something. By the way, this is an area where you might start feeling a little motion wooziness if you're not used to VR, because we're feeling like we're flying towards this castle here. But what's funny though, having played this right around the time I was at Disney World, and they have this thing at the Disney Springs thing called the Void, which is a VR experience where you actually walk around a big space. And this reminded me a lot of that. Like, it feels very similar to it. But isn't this cool? I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, like, this is the first game. So you have like 3 of these episodes and then the new game, which we're going to load up in a second here. And this is on like a mobile device. It's really wild.
Yeah, Brandon Wallace says they do have games, they do have sales as well. Excuse me, I got all 3 of the Vader games for $20 during Black Friday week.
Yeah, they did have a sale. They just got done with the sale. So it's kind of like how Steam works. And then, by the way, if you have a PC, you can go buy games from Steam also, so you have that as an option. And I think we can go over to where
Jay Heimer on Amazon says it would be, so would a nature tour be good to watch while on a treadmill?
While on a what? A treadmill? It might be,
Yeah.
It depends on what your tolerance level is for the disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're doing, right? So right now, like, this doesn't feel that bad to me because I'm walking around. Like, if I walk over here, you know what I mean? Like, this is pretty cool, isn't it? So it feels natural the way I'm walking around here, It's not like I'm being taken on a ride somewhere. It's just I'm controlling the movement.
Take them both to the holding cells.
Here on YouTube we have a super chat donation from Ken Jiggers who says, loving the content.
Great, thank you, Ken. I never know how these things go because I'm in a headset and I can't see anything except what the game is showing. But I have to say that this is doing the streaming a lot better than the other Oculus headset did. All right, so let's stop recording here real quick. It's funny too when I come out of these things, like I forget I'm in a different position than I was when I when I started. So let's try the other game. And this, by the way, is your little living room that you're in when you get started. So let's hit the reset thing here. I think I'm looking at you now, Jake. Am I right? Yep. Okay, there we go. And thank you very much for the super chat contribution, by the way, too. All right, so let's boot up.
Monty G says, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and by the way, if you want to use your hands, you can just take your hands out, and if you have the setting enabled, your hands work. So go ahead, Jake.
Monty G says, I think I'm still most excited for flying/driving games/sims in VR. Project Wingman on Steam looks really interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick that one up. I saw that one. It's an airplane simulator. It's kind of like an arcadey airplane simulator, so I'm eager to try that one out. We're gonna try these out in a minute because I have the PC over there, and I've got about another half hour, so we have some time. Star Wars Squadrons on the PC supports VR through this headset with the PC link function, and that game's just awesome. Now this is a brand new Star Wars game that I have never played before. This just came out. This kind of coincided with the launch of the Quest 2. And this one is it kind of ties in with the theme park, but it's not the theme park. It's like an adventure taking place at the theme park setting, which is the Star Wars land thing that they've got now. So let's see what happens here. And these kind of games wouldn't have existed without Facebook investing in them. Like, they've been losing money on Oculus for a long time. So this is kind of cool. We're like on the edge of a hill. It looks pretty high. And like I said, what's interesting about this new headset is the resolution is better, but the detail is about what it was before, if that makes sense. You have more resolution, but you're still dealing with a mobile processor for the most part. So my hope is that, and here's, by the way, somebody asked about standing versus sitting. This one lets you play either way. So if you have someone who can't stand, there is a way you can do that. And here we have the option between teleport and free move. I'm going to do teleport. And we'll just put it on normal.
Yeah, Christopher P. on YouTube says that 4 out of 4 people that had tried my Quest 2 headset ended up ordering one. In fact, one of them ordered one for himself and his kid.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, these things, honestly, like when you try VR, and I don't care if it's this one or the PC stuff, you have to try it to appreciate it. And the second you try it, you're like, this is awesome. I'm going to want one of these things. And for me, it was when I was at PAX East in Boston, and I got to try out the HTC Vive. And I said, oh my gosh, like, it took this long for it to be doable, but it feels right, you know? So this is kind of similar to what we saw before, right? It's got the same kind of feel to it. And I think it wants me to grab this thing.
Yeah, and I can just say for myself, I tried one over over there at your place, and it really is one of those things you have to really experience yourself to get the full effect. Yeah. And it was really cool, honestly.
All right, just snap. Look, I can see my body here. Can you see that, Jake? I got like a body. I have no arms, but I have a body.
Oh yeah, just a couple floating hands there, yeah.
Yeah. So you see my, I got like I got stuff on my, I gotta push this button.
Oh yeah.
Here.
Oh,
push
that's
that button.
cool.
Looks like we're on a spaceship going somewhere.
Brandon Wallace says that Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting VR support. Cool.
Yes, it is.
Soon.
We'll do a stream with that when it's available. But here's my point. Like, I'm in this space here, and I feel like I'm in a big, like, I can touch my ceiling in this room, but I feel like I'm in a very big space right now. And that's the immersiveness that you can't appreciate on something like this. This is cool. And then here's the other thing. I want to see out that window a little bit more. I can peek over the side. You see what I mean? This is the kind of stuff that you have to really get in here, because you're seeing a two-dimensional image of what I'm doing. But, you know, if I want to get on the floor here and look underneath, you know what I mean? Like, you can pretty much go anywhere they've modeled. And on the PC, it can drive more fidelity. Again, I'm cautious about saying, is it going to be able to give you a photorealism? No, but it's virtual, right? So I'm going to push this button here. Let's see, review mission objective. So I need to get to the cargo area. Okay, so let's
Michael
go.
J. Heimer asks, so you mentioned PC. Is that where the game is loaded, or do you just download the game onto the VR headset?
Okay, so there's two different ways to use this. One is right now we're using it in what's called standalone mode. So right now you can buy the game on the PC and then it'll download onto the headset automatically over the internet. You can buy the game on the headset and do it that way. And then if you want to use it with a PC, I have to hold this over pouch to snap. So if you want to use this on the PC, or have a PC game that you want to play, you plug the headset into the PC, and the PC drives the game and sends the image data over to the headset. Hold over pouch to dash. Does that make sense?
I actually got a couple. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I got actually a couple other questions here. We have another one on Amazon that says, Sally asks, is there a lot of content, games or whatever, for seated wheelchair users?
So that's a good question. It looks like this game supports that. We just saw that. There is and I wish I had the link in front of me, but there is a group that has been taking Steam VR games on the PC and converting some of the movement into things that are accessible. So there is an accessibility movement, and so you will find a lot of experiences that will work for people who are limited in their motion. There are certainly more that are not thinking about those folks, unfortunately, but there's a good amount of games out there. And like I said, this game, will work in a seated position. Like I'm walking around right now, but it's not necessary for this game. And there was actually a seated option. So they thought about it for this one. And I'm seeing more and more of that. And I am pretty sure on the Oculus store, they do list the kinds of things that can work depending on the person's limitations. So hopefully that answers the question. But I would definitely go on the Oculus store and browse through some of the games that are available, because they do list the kinds of activity that's required in the game. Now here's something we're going to try here real quick, Jake. I'm going to walk. I'm just going to see if I can get my... Okay, so that's my thing there. So I'm going to turn this way, because I've got the longest run here. And now what I'm seeing right now is like because I'm at the edge of my Guardian that I set up, but I could walk just like normally through this area. And I'm just hitting the end of it here because I'm going next to my desk. Isn't this cool? So if I had a bigger space, and people have done this, like you can go into like a big gymnasium and you can set a super huge Guardian, and you could walk, like you could have a space where you could actually walk through this entire space right now.
So
it's pretty crazy. Isn't it cool?
Jose Rodriguez asks, Lon, which link cable do you recommend for the Quest 2 on PC?
So Oculus has one that's very expensive. It's a fiber optic cable. Uh-oh, something just happened here. Pretty much, there's a lot of just USB 3 cables that should work pretty decently. So I would maybe suggest checking out one of those. Pretty much a cable that supports USB-C to USB-A and has USB 3 support is what you want to look for. And they now include a much shorter cable than they did initially. So looks like I got to connect this thing up here. All right, so we got through that challenge, it looks like. And I think I'm going to start recording here.
Yeah. Someone asks, are all games that are in the library free games, or do you need to buy them?
Oh, most of them you need to buy. There's a lot of demos and stuff. There's some free games, but a bulk of the library is paid. But like I mentioned, they're
in stores. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, they're all digital. There's no physical games. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
And are these in stores to try out before buying? I'm sure I can get a better price with Amazon, but I would just like to experience it first. Your live video does help in that regard, though.
Yeah, I think they are at retailers. I don't know with the pandemic if they're letting people put it on because you are, getting sweaty and stuff in these things. I would say, here's what I would say, is it'd be really helpful to hear what concerns that this person has, because I can answer them, I think. I would say that if you don't have a powerful PC and you're curious about VR, this is the way to go. There's just nothing better than this right now for that, because it is self-contained. It'll work with the PC when you do get a powerful enough PC, and it's good. I mean, if you brought this home to your kids and you can't get that Xbox right now or the PlayStation or whatever, I mean, honestly, this feels like you're in an amusement park right now. I mean, the sense of scale that I have, and if I had a bigger room, I could just walk freely throughout this Star Wars spaceship with a planet in front of me, and get the sense of depth that I can't convey in a two-dimensional live stream. It's pretty remarkable. And I'm trying to get out of the ship, I think, is what we're trying to do right now. So there's like a little bar here. And this is like some stuff that you might see in the new journal entry. Okay, lethal man training remote droid. Uh-oh.
And so there's some discussion here on YouTube. Is there anything in Facebook's terms of services preventing someone from creating a throwaway second account using your legit information just for the Quest? Not sure I'd want it tied to my main account. I
think you could do that. I do believe they don't want you to, But if you're using your legit information or maybe tie it to one of your kids or something, that's probably okay. But you want to be careful about, I would check out the Facebook's terms of service first, just to be sure. Because you could definitely, you could get into trouble with them pretty quickly with some of this stuff. And they keep changing some of the ways that they're going about this, so, oops, where'd I go? So I'm sorry, that's not a good answer, because unfortunately I just don't know if they will be okay with that. I think it's a matter of whether or not Facebook is okay with, okay. I'm just trying to see what he's trying to tell us up here.
Question from Matthew on Amazon asking what types of games are available, and then we have one from someone on YouTube asking what games are paid for in the library.
So most of them are paid games. Just to set expectations here, they generally will cost in the $20 to $30 range. There's a bunch of demos, so you can try out a demo and just see if it's something that might work for you. I think when you get it, if you don't want to spend any money at all, there's plenty of demos to kind of keep yourself busy for Christmas morning and stuff, and then figure out which ones you may want to play around with. If you like Star Wars, the Star Wars games are great. They're made by Lucasfilm, like directly. They're not EA or anything else. So this is like, ILM making these games, and you're going to be totally cool with that. This is amazing. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so like this kind of game, it just doesn't matter what it is. If it's Star Wars and it looks legit, I'm going to be in on it. I think he wants me to go in that thing over there. So those are good. There is some free stuff. You'll see more of it. There's a lot of titles now on the Quest, and the reason is, as I mentioned before, is that people are actually buying these games, and that's been motivating a lot of the developers to make more. So I think if there's a VR game of some kind, it's going to appear on Quest first, like this one. This one will have a PC version eventually.
I know you wanted to get off Batuu and see the galaxy, but did you ever think...
But Daniel Morris says that there are a few good free games on Side Quest, and he had said something earlier about being able to side those games in through that.
Yes, so we did that on a stream on the Quest 1. I haven't done it on the Quest 2 yet, but there is a jailbreaking thing called Side Quest, which is definitely worth checking out. And there's a lot of fun little experiments on there, and a couple of good games too. So that's an option if you don't want to go the Facebook route. You can do that. I just want to check my battery life here. I'm curious. So we're doing pretty good on battery. We've been doing this, about an hour, Jake? Is that how long we've been going for?
Yeah, we're at 3:07 now. We started up just after 2, I want to say, so just about an hour, yeah.
Yeah, so the battery's
and
doing
Matthew
okay.
J. Heimer Michael J. Heimer on Amazon asks, are you able to interact with shooting games or other things with action? For example, throwing a basketball at the hoop, or is it all just walking around and doing things like flipping switches, opening doors, etc.? Oh no, there's definitely
a lot of physics games around. We actually have one we can play in a few minutes. But yeah, there's definitely some out there. And actually, the one that comes with the Quest, I think I'm supposed to go through this door. The one that comes with the Quest has a bunch of those like little sport games that you can play around with. And that one actually works well seated too. We could try that again in a second, I guess. We're supposed to push this button here, maybe.
And Matthew asks, are the holiday bundles overkill?
Holiday bundles on the Quest? I would say
so. It's the Amazon comment, so.
Yeah, there are some bundles available. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to climb up here or not. There are some bundles that you can get, like I think some like things, accessory kinds of items. There is a premium head strap, which I haven't tried the premium head strap. I know my friend Metal Jesus Rocks, who's got a great YouTube channel, he has it and likes it quite a bit. I'm actually okay with the one it came with from a comfort standpoint. So if you wanted a better head strap, that might be worth looking at. But yeah, I think I just bought the standalone. I bought the lowest cost version, which is the 64 gig version, and that's been fine for me. It's also going to come down to a matter of stock levels too. So there might be some that just, you might only be able to get the bundle. That's what happened with my Xbox purchase the other day. I could only find the Xbox as a bundle. So see what the stock levels are, but you don't need the bundle. All right, so I came in here and got money. I think that's all I needed to do. So let's venture our way out of here. I should have listened to what the briefing was before I started messing around here. Now I can't go off the edge here. I'm supposed to go down there, I think.
By
So how do we
there's
get-
actually a really cool comment here from Matthew Lake, who says that Jesse Shell from Shell Games said that for every 1 copy of their game they sell on PC, they sell 10 on a Quest. So many
No
devs
kidding.
are going to be developing for this.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think he's right about that. I want to get up here. How do I get up there? I think he's absolutely right about that, because that's been the thing with this. And I've looked at it from the standpoint of, I can take this thing out in any room in my house. I don't have to have the wire coming off of it. It's really very convenient. So, all right, so let's do a quit here, get a good sense of how that works. I got to play around with this a little bit more when I can listen to the to the instructions here. So somebody wanted to see a little bit more of an interactive kind of experience. So let's take a look at the one that we looked at the other day. Let me see what else I have here that might be a good... I'm going to start downloading Tilt Brush real quick. Gravity Lab is another new one that I got. I haven't played it yet. And this one apparently works with... I'm just going to put these down here. And by the way, I can see things so well through this. It's really cool. All right, switch to controllers. Oh, it wants me to use controllers, huh? Okay, let me go get the controllers. I thought they had added support for hand controls in this, but I guess not.
Thank you for choosing our economy teleport option. We guarantee a 99.99% pattern reconstruction. If you feel any discomfort, consider upgrading to our Platinum service on your return trip.
Monty G on YouTube says that the fact that there isn't a good, clear answer to it doesn't make me feel any better about the forced Facebook account situation.
I mean, if you're not comfortable with Facebook, then
saying,
this is not... I mean, here's the bottom line on the Facebook thing, is that if you don't like Facebook, don't get it. Because that's just the gist of it here. This is their product, and if you don't like Facebook, this is not going to be something you're going to want to get. And I think Facebook, through their Oculus division, did market research and discovered that most consumers don't care. And if you don't care, then you're fine with it. And if you do care, then I would get a PC headset and go that route. But I think from the standpoint of privacy and Facebook and everything, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I think it's just the nature of the beast here, that they've determined that the Facebook issues in their research probably aren't significant enough to warrant not having Facebook be a requirement. And so that's just how it's going to work, unfortunately. So if you don't like Facebook, this is, again, I think I would go with a PC headset, get Steam VR. You can get a great library through that. You just need to have a beefy PC to make it work.
We do not tolerate any violation of the electromagnetic force between us.
And Kelly Benson on Amazon asks, do I have to get earphones to be able to hear?
Oh no, actually, so there's they're not bad either. They have headphones built into the side of the strap here. So you will hear stereo sound without having to put headphones on. I, though, prefer to wear headphones when I'm doing my VR stuff. I got a nice pair of Sennheisers that work really well. So that's what I would do. But
our sensors detected possible structural damage due to micrometeorites.
And I've got a
we recommend using our patented side-to-side
I'm just trying to
transport
figure out how to
to
get into
enter
the
the
game here.
tutorial
Share
airlock.
destinations, okay.
You can initiate the transport with the menu on the back of your
Okay.
hand.
Start tutorial here.
In front of you is an example test scenario. To simulate the production use of our equipment, we created tests
Let's try to
that
listen
use
to what they're saying
items to
here.
transport balls into bends. As you can see, this scenario is pre-solved, and the only thing you need to do is to run the solution. Open the menu and press the Run Solution button.
So we should probably find one of those games we can interact with the balls and stuff. What was I saying, Jake? I forgot what I was talking about.
Congratulations. You now know
the
how to
sound.
run
I
a
think it was with
solution.
the earphones, that sort of
Show
thing.
you how
Yeah,
to
so
spawn
it does have them built in. There is a headphone jack on it, though, so you could hook up those headphones to it. So that would work. All right, so now I've got to figure out how to fix this thing. So I need to get a board here. And so we're going to point with our finger. And I'm going to... The controls take a little bit of getting used to sometimes in some of these games here. Oops. There we go. And oops. This is kind of a puzzle game. I'm sure it gets more complicated as time goes on here.
Sally asks, Lon, have you tried watching any movies on Oculus Quest 2 or any VR headset? And what is it like if you have?
I have, as a matter of fact, and I don't know. Let's see if we can find the movie theater thing here. I don't know if I have it installed on here.
We have to inform you that from now on.
But yeah, they have like a couple of apps. I think one of them, they don't have it, maybe it's big screen. There's a few apps that will allow you to play movies in a movie theater, and it looks really cool. I just can't run any of those right now because of copyright and stuff. Let's take a look at YouTube real quick, though, and see if we can watch my YouTube channel on there. And it's cool because you get a nice big screen. It kind of simulates what it would be like to be in a movie theater. So we can, oh, there's also Skybox. There's a bunch of different VR players out there that you can try out with. Netflix is a pretty cool app, too, which we can install. And I can show you what it looks like without running anything. And there's a sports game here that I haven't played either. So let's try those too. So let's let these download real quick. Yeah, so they have like these simulated movie theaters, which are really fun. And you can load up your personal library. I know Plex had something. I don't know if they have it for the Quest. Let me see if I can find it in the store. So, and just to show everybody what the store looks like, because this thing again is like designed to sell you stuff. So right when you pop in, you've got stuff to buy, right? So you can go through entertainment here and see what some of the options are. Let's see if we can find a demo of one of the movie theaters, because that might be a safer way to go. Here's some fun stuff, like if you don't mind getting motion sickness, they've got like, you know, GoPro has a whole VR channel where you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to jump out of an airplane or be on a roller coaster. So if you really want to test your limits, there's definitely some ways to do that. Here's some TV shows and movies. I can't play any of this stuff because it's all copyrighted. It just gives you an idea as to what kind of options there are for watching stuff. Ooh, Star Trek Picard's on here.
Sally asks, is it as good as 4K?
No, definitely not. So what I would say is that what's cool about the media experiences on it is that you get the immersion of being in a larger environment. So the resolution isn't there, but you have a big movie screen in front of you. So if you go to the movie theater and you have like a big IMAX screen in front of you where you can't see the whole frame in your field of view, that's the kind of experience you get here. So it's not, it's not as high resolution, but you get that immersion that you wouldn't have otherwise. Let me show you. Let me see if I can just go into like an empty theater here and see. Right now we're just waiting for all this stuff to finish installing. And by the way, on the battery now we're about halfway, just to give everybody an idea as to what the battery life is on this. And you can plug it in.
Says you can install. Sorry, he says you can install xCloud onto it and play Xbox games as if you are in a movie theater, which is kind of relating to the movie theater thing.
That's really cool. Let's try that out. Here's a TV option. Let's see what this is. Yeah, this is what we saw before. So again, a bunch of content, and a lot of this stuff is probably going to be free. And I interviewed one of the guys that was creating Star Wars creatures back in the day, and he's got a VR thing that they experimented with. But he has a lot of content on here. A lot of it 360 video, so you can't really interact with it, but you can experience it. Let's wait for that movie theater thing to load up here. Let's see if it's done yet. It's still installing. And a lot of this is hard to appreciate watching on a 2D screen. Like that's the I think Jake put it best when we were talking earlier, that you have to experience the immersion to really get a feel for what this is about. And I think what we'll do after we do the media look here is maybe jump back over to the laptop and plug it in real quick and give it a shot, so people can get a feel for the PC experience.
Yeah, it really is just like a different. Yeah, you just have to do it. You
got to try
it yourself.
You got to try it.
I know that there are places. I think there's a place I think there's a place around here, around us somewhere, that you can go in, and it's like an entire room that just has VR stations set up. So you can go with your friends, and you could,
try it out.
A group of 8 people can go and try it out. And Alex Haynes asked, "I have the original Quest. Is the Quest 2 worth the upgrade?"
That's a good question. I would say if you're happy with it, here we could actually watch our live stream now as we're doing it. Let's try that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, if you're doing a lot of the PC stuff, I would say it might be worth looking at. And let's go on to here we go. So
entire room that just has.
So I'm seeing right now this enormous screen in front of me. This is probably not the right one to watch because let's turn the volume off here. It's going to loop me back. But you get this enormous screen in front of you. So it's not high resolution, but it's large. I would say if you're happy with it. So I would estimate the screen size, like if I were to be standing next to it here. Let me see if I can walk a little bit further. It's probably an 8-foot screen. If you're doing a lot of the PC stuff, I would say it might be worth looking at. And it's pretty wild. So, that's kind of that's what you get from it. Let me skip this ad here.
For as low as $29 per month per arch with 60.
Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time once again for you see what I mean? Like it's huge. It fills up my, I don't think I've ever want to see myself this big, but it fills up my field of vision. And check out the bottom here. And this is not like the theater app that I was talking about, but you see how the lighting on the floor matches what's coming in over the screen? Isn't that cool? So there's some neat stuff, and they have some 360 videos and things that you can try out with it. I can put on a curved screen here, give it a little bit more curvature if I wanted to. And then some of the apps, like I said, have, they have like a theater that you can sit in like Netflix has. So let me try to see if I can see if Netflix is done installing here. Because the Netflix one I think is really cool. It just kind of gives you like this, here we go. And again, this is all self-contained. And some folks I know were like, hey, I could try this on a plane or something. So here we are like in this like cottage, right? And then you could watch stuff on here. Now granted, I am standing, so this is a little weird, but I'm like, if I was sitting, this would be the right position to be sitting at. And I got this nice big screen here. And I think there's a way to, oops, go back in real quick. Any more questions coming in, Jake, or are those?
Yeah, we have so have you sideloaded an app's Stadia?
I haven't. No,
then,
I have to do some side loading still. And we can do Void Theater.
Yeah, it looks like Daniel Morris says it runs Android, so pretty much any APK will work on it.
Ah, okay. That's worth trying. Yeah, so it is an Android device, so you could do that. By the way, I can resize the screen here. So I can drag up to scale. And then there's travel mode.
And do you have a Medal of Honor game for it? Someone was wondering.
I do not. I'll have to try some of those. I've got to really go through like the sales and see what's good on the sales to get some good deals on stuff. So you know what I'm going to do now? Woo! My hair's probably a wreck too. I'm going to go back to my desk and let's see if we can get some of the PC stuff going. I just got to find my cable real quick because I forgot to get that in front of me. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. Perfect, front and center. And we'll take a look at
Kelly
some
Benson
PC games.
Asks,
yeah, good.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Kelly Benson asks, if I don't have a PC, I can just use my Wi-Fi, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's no computer required. So what you saw, everything we just did for the last hour, all of that does not require a PC. And that's what's great about this, is that you don't need it at all. And then when you do have the PC, you have that option available to you. So what I'm going to do real quick here is load up the Oculus software on my computer. And it's kind of a weird thing because I have a Steam account and I have an Oculus account. And so you have to have Oculus loaded to get into Steam. But you have a lot more, a huge library on the PC side. And then a lot of the experiments that are going on in VR often are done by people that are just doing stuff. So you have all of that available on the PC side when you're plugged in. Now the cable that I have, let me pull up Steam real quick. So go into Steam. The cable that I'm using right now this is from Anchor, and I reviewed this already. This is just like one of their standard charging cables, and it's what you want though is a USB-C, because that's what this has on board. It's got a USB-C port on the side. To USB-A. And if you have a USB-C computer, you could get a USB-C to USB-C cable. The key though is making sure, especially for the higher frame rate stuff, is to make sure you've got a USB 3 cable, because there's a lot of cables out there that are USB-C but are actually USB 2 speeds. So you got to make sure USB 3, and these Anchor cables have been really good for me. I've also found that not every, it gets complicated, not every computer's ports work with this. So if you plug it in and it doesn't work, you might want to switch to a different port. Just based on some of the experiences I've had with this in the past. And give me a second
what about,
here.
Your phone?
What's that?
How do you use your phone with it?
So you have an app for the phone that links up with it. In fact, I think that's how you set it up initially. And you can buy games on the standalone side through the Oculus store on your phone, and then they download to the headset. So that's definitely something you can do. And give me 1 second, folks. I'm just going to set up my screen here to accommodate me. There we go. And I've got to adjust my viewport here. Give me 1 second. Position. And this is overlaid.
Daniel Morris says that anyone who had paid for a Quest, if you sent a support ticket asking Oculus support, along with your proof of purchase, you'll get Asgard's Wrath on PC for free.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
Mark asks, so one has to have a USB-C fast port to hook up to PC? Question mark.
No, you just need a USB-A port. So on the cable here, so this is I'm going to plug this into the USB 3 port on the side of my computer. So you don't need a USB-C on the computer. But if you have USB-C on the computer, I would use that, get a USB-C to USB-C cable. Facebook sells an $80 fiber optic cable, which is expensive and you don't really need it. I did order one because I was curious as to how it works. So I will get one of those in and I will do a review of it so you can get a feel for whether or not that's going to work for you. But like I said, generally, and again, it's really down to, I'm just adjusting my screen here, everybody. It really comes down to whether or not your computer's compatible and the USB 3 speeds. Now, it does work over USB 2 now, but again, the higher frame rate stuff that you might do on the PC requires a little bit more. So we're just downloading stuff right now. It looks like it's doing some updates. I'm going to update No Man's Sky because that's one that has some pretty cool VR stuff. I'm going to plug in an Xbox controller. I was going to go through the whole HOTAS thing, but I'm running out of time. So I think in the interest of time, we will cut it down a little bit here. I think this is charged up. I could probably pair it up via Bluetooth. So let me just do a quick pairing of the controller. I'm sorry I wasn't prepared for this part. I was just getting set up here. But we're going to plug in a PlayStation controller because there's some games that work better with the PlayStation controller versus other stuff. And
Matthew Lake says, Quest 2 can do wireless PC VR by using virtual desktop.
What's that?
Daniel Morris says, Matthew Lake says, Quest 2 can do wireless PC VR by using virtual desktop. Daniel Morris says, virtual desktop is amazing.
Yeah, virtual desktop is pretty cool.
Michael Hammer asks on Amazon, is the system you are demonstrating the $299 one on Amazon? I asked because I found you when I was looking at a cheap $50 VR and scrolled to the details area, and that's where your live feed was.
Oh, neat. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get myself organized here.
But I think that
cool.
is the $299 one.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I was
right?
a little distracted. Yes, this is the $299 one. So this and the here's the other thing with this is that this is the same as the $399 one. The only difference is the storage level. So this has less storage than the more expensive one. So that's what this is. And now, and in case anyone's wondering, because I see Sasha says they're confused right now, this is the Oculus Quest, which works by itself, but we just did all the standalone stuff. And we're now going into how it works with the PC, because it really does work quite well on the PC side also. And what I'm doing real quick is I'm just pairing this up with my PlayStation controller so I can demo the Star Wars game on that. And I'm a little biased towards Star Wars, as you can see, because I love Star Wars. And we're just going to pair up my PlayStation controller here real quick. I'm not sure what this
so
thing is.
Michael Heimer again on Amazon says, I'm guessing the $50 range is more like a total.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the $50 stuff is not good. Not at all. I think I just lost your audio, Jake. Hang on a second. Can you talk again real quick?
Yeah,
okay,
check.
Good.
Test 1, test 2.
Oh, can you talk again?
Yep, check. Test 1, test 2.
Okay, yeah, it looks like you're coming back through. Give me 1 second. I just got to repair. I think my phone reconnected to the to my Bluetooth thing here. And
Chris Allegretta says, Elite Dangerous is my main interest in doing gaming in VR. It's so
yeah,
pretty.
That one's a lot of fun. I have that downloaded, but I haven't played that one in a while on this, but I do have that. And Elite Dangerous is a great game in VR. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go all out here. We're going to plug in the, we'll plug in the HOTAS. I'm running out of room on the desk here, but we're going to load up Star Wars Squadrons real quick. We played this the other day on the old headset, but now we're going to try it on the new one and see how it does. So let me just move some of these things out of the way here. I'm going to get this plugged into the back, and then we're going to load up Star Wars Squadrons real quick and see how all of that works.
While that's getting set up, we have a question here on YouTube from Armando Labrada asking, can you use a Mac like we'd use a PC?
So, no. Yes and no, I should say. It's a wishy-washy answer, I know. The problem with, I'm just trying to get my AirPod connected here. The problem with the Mac is that Apple kind of dropped support for it. So it's possible to get a headset working, but it's not ideal and no one's really supporting it. So that's the long short answer. So I would pretty much stick to the Windows side on that, if you can. And you could put your Mac into into Windows. You could put Boot Camp on it and kind of do it that way. So that might be something to pursue. Okay, I think I'm getting ready here. And the way this link feature works is you've got to have your computer loaded up with the Oculus Windows software. And then when you plug the headset in, it's going to identify it and go from there. And of course, there is a big update to Star Wars Squadrons that's coming down. But the good news is I've got now gigabit. I got gigabit here, so we're not going to take too long.
Armando Labrada asks, will it work in parallels? Parallels?
Will work in parallel? Oh, parallels. No. You're going to want to go into straight boot camp. And Sally's asking about the Intel or the M1 Mac. Yeah, I am pretty sure that we'll be able to see good VR performance out of the M1 chip, but not right now. So, and generally, here's the problem with VR. VR has not taken off, I think, the way that a lot of people thought it was going to take off. And the result is that because it did not take off the way that they were expecting it to take off, the development money just never materialized. And so it was hard enough to make money on Windows, let alone go to the Mac, where there was even a smaller install footprint. And the reason why everyone's excited about the Oculus Quest in the development community is because people are actually buying these things. Notwithstanding the Facebook requirement, they're still selling. And that has created a very large install base, so much so that I think right now, so the market leader has always been PlayStation. But I would venture to say that the Quest platform, if not surpassing PlayStation at this point, is very close second. And it's only going to expand further because Facebook has been very much focused on development of this platform. And a lot of developers are finding a revenue path here with this one. So the long answer here is that the development you're going to see in VR, my prediction, is Quest first, PC second, Mac maybe. That's kind of the order. Unless the Apple processors become so powerful, well, they already are, but if they become so powerful for VR that they can't help but develop for them, or they maybe use them as their development platform, that's a possibility. But you'll have to see how that plays out. Okay, so now I'm going to connect the cable here. And this is always kind of a hit or miss kind of thing. And by the way, all those stand-up games we were playing before that are on the PC like this, no problem. But you got a cable now you got to contend with, which I know for some folks is a bit of a hassle there. All right, so let me go over to Oculus here. And we're going to set up Oculus link. I'm going to click continue. I connected my headset. And I'm doing this like from scratch here, so it looks like we're good to go. And you'll notice here that I'm going to go back to Steam, and I'm going to click on Steam VR. And when it launches, it's going to detect the Oculus headset here, at least it should. And there we go, dismiss. Okay, so you can see it's already detected my headset. I got to reactivate it real quick. And it's going to ask me, I'm just seeing this in the headset. I'm just going to allow a couple of things here real quick. There's a couple of things you got to click on kind of inside the environment here. And we'll enable Oculus Link. And we're just coming back up here. Okay, so I got to restart Steam VR because it installed some something or other. That's how this stuff always rolls here. It's a little flaky sometimes, especially when you first get things going. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, Matthew Lake says, I was looking at Google Trends recently, and Oculus Quest is surging in interest, far higher than other headsets.
Yep.
Jesse Barreto says, what do you think of Valve's Index feature, bright or very dim?
So I had bought the Valve Index because I'm a big VR. I'm not like a VR. I'm a VR enthusiast to some degree. I love the platform. I love what's happening with VR. By the way, I'm just trying to figure out why this is not working. Give me 1 second here. But the Valve Index, my issue with it was that it didn't work well with my eyes. So the Index is really a real enthusiast headset. It has super high frame rates. It's a nice platform, but for whatever reason, my eyes were not cooperating with it. And I was getting a lot of jelly vision and a lot of weird stuff going on with it. And so it just didn't do it for me. And so I have a HTC Vive Pro on my PC upstairs that I'm very happy with. And I'll probably use this a little bit more because it's easier to get this up and running. Because on the HTC, I got to have, and the Index for that matter, you have to have base stations kind of set up, you know, to kind of paint the area. So you have to plug stuff in. You've got to get the room set up. This thing is inside-out tracking, so it just looks with its cameras to know where you want to set your guardians and your barriers and all that kind of stuff. And Steam is also crashing again. Let's try one more time here. Sorry, everybody. Unfortunately, what I'm experiencing here is something that happens a lot. Okay, now it's working. And so now, I think, Jake, you can see, I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so give me a second here. I'm going to start up Star Wars Squadrons here.
While that's booting up, Kelly Benson on Amazon asks, so the $299 is a good first-time VR player? Do I need to get all the extra stuff I see on Amazon, like the chin strap, no sweat to go around the face masks?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy anything else initially and just see what, get into it and see what works for you. The challenge with VR is that everyone's experiences are different based on your anatomy, essentially. So your facial anatomy. Because like for me, I see a little bit of light bleeding in by my nose because I have a little bit of a bigger nose than most people have, I guess. So I may want to get something that better seals off my face. And I would not get a bundle. I would just get what you can afford, and then add the accessories in later when you feel like you need to do something more. And that's what I would say for any consumer electronics product, to be honest with you, if you can avoid buying things you don't need. All right, so can you see the game, Jake?
Yes, I do. Looks great.
Okay.
Coming in
All right,
good.
so, yeah, it looks a little weird in the headset. Like the colors look off to me. I don't know what's going on with it. But let me, I'm going to do a quick match here. And I think I might end up playing with other people, which is not going to be good. Let me see if I can jump out of this. And I have to like relearn all the control. I haven't played this in a couple of weeks here, and I'm all rusty. And I'm trying to get out of this thing. Button 8. Yeah, the color's looking a little bit off to me. Actually, it looks better on your screen than it does for what I see at the moment.
We have another comment here. This is something we discussed earlier, but maybe people just joining the stream. Jesse Barreto asks, is Facebook still cracking down on using aliases when logging into the Quest 2? I really don't want to recreate a Facebook account.
Yeah, again, it comes back to the Facebook thing. They are not going to be, you got to comply with Facebook terms of service, unfortunately. And if the Facebook terms are not something you're comfortable with, this is probably not going to be a good platform for you. And I would suggest going on the PC route. This is very much a consumer product, and Facebook is assuming that you are comfortable, with their thing. All right, let's see here. I'm going to be the worst wingman ever.
Michael J. Heimer asks, in shooting games, can you get hit or only the one you were looking at? Kind of, I think, like if you're having a shootout with someone, can you get shot? And he says, obviously, you wouldn't feel anything, but for the excitement, it would be cool. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. There's a game called, I have it on, what was the name of it? It's, I forgot the name of it. It's almost like there's a couple of them where you can kind of step into like these shootouts. Super Hot is a good one. And yeah, it is, that's the one thing that bothers me a little bit about these things is that, give me a second here, I'm just trying to find my way through getting out of this screen I'm in. There's a couple of things that bother me about VR. And I've never been one of these people that really is, about the video game violence kind of stuff. There are some games that are pretty brutal that I think are a little too much for me. Like I haven't even played them. Like, games where you're stabbing people and beating them up and stuff. And, the boxing games, those are fine. But like some of these there's some real heavy duty stuff there. And, you can call me whatever you want. Hang on a second. I'm just going to try to get this going again. For me, it just isn't my thing. And so that bothers me a little bit. So I think as a parent, and I'm a father, so I'm very mindful of this stuff. I'm really nervous about some of the titles that are out there that I think are a little too much for kids to be playing. And I've never taken that position before. But it's the simulation, the realism, even the boxing game, like you feel like you're going to get hit, and so like there's a realism there that I think is fine for adults, but some of the more violent titles where you're simulating, beating somebody to death or something, like that kind of stuff really bothers me. And I don't even play those games because I just don't think they're fun. And I would not be comfortable with my kids playing those games. So I would be very careful about, which titles you have on the hard drive, especially on the PC side. Those games tend to be more on the PC side. But for every one of those, there's like 12 others that are really, a lot more family friendly, if you will. And I'm going to load up Star Wars Squadrons here and get a game that I can just jump into as a single player, as opposed to this thing. And what happened was I mapped all the controls a few weeks ago, and I haven't played in a couple of days, and I have to relearn like everything I had already set up because I am old and I forget stuff. But you can see, generally the connection to the PC is pretty easy. I will say though, I've got to do some tweaks with this because again, this is the Quest 2, and the first time I'm using the Quest 2 on the PC, and it's feeling to me like the color's a bit off on this, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I will figure that out here. All right, let me just go and do a training match. I'm just going to do a practice run here. And we'll do New Republic, because we all want to do the X-Wing, right? And you can get a look at it. I don't think I have the sound working, but we'll jump through that hoop when we get there. All right, let's try this out here. What do we got for questions, Jake? Any more coming in?
Yeah, we kind of, so Daniel Morris says, Link is so much more buggy / more difficult to use than Virtual Desktop.
Yeah, I would say, I would agree with him on that. I think it's definitely a little, it definitely is a bit more buggy. And I found with the other one that it was, like, again, I'm just trying this out now for the first time on the Quest 2. All right, select for launch. This is a great game, and what makes it a great game is there's so many options that you can run through. And I'm trying to remember where all my buttons are. So I just want to get the spaceship in the air. I was in the cockpit there a second ago. That was good. That was making progress. And I've got all these buttons. I'm like the worst game streamer ever. So don't judge me.
You mentioned it does look like slightly washed out a little bit. I thought it was just like a menu thing, but once you get into it,
something's not
it's
right
a little
here.
washy.
Yeah, it's not looking right, and it could be something that I've set up incorrectly. So we'll have to figure it out. All right, so how do I get this thing into launch? Launch and practice. You can see the cockpit here. Isn't this cool? If you look behind you, you got your R2 unit up there. I mean, it's slick. It's really slick. All right, so launch.
Ryan Plumley asks, have you tried Virtual Desktop Wireless yet?
I haven't, and I know some people have been asking about it. I need to give it a shot. And my concern with it, and maybe they've improved it, but when I tried it in the past, like a while ago, the concern that I had was the latency. And I don't get motion sickness that easily, but when you have latency in VR, it becomes immediately noticeable as far as the motion sickness. Like you really feel it quickly. All right, how do I launch this thing? Let's get in the air here. Come on, let's go. I don't want any decals. I just want to get this thing flying here. Let's see, launch.
And on the topic of Virtual Desktop, Chris Allegretta asks, is Virtual Desktop 360 degrees, or just shows you a plane to watch a game or app in a window?
So it can do both. It can stream the games VR over, like VR games over, and then most of the time you can have it like just give you a screen in front of you. In fact, Steam can do that through the VR interface here too. So for example, I could hit my button here, I think, and I could show my desktop usually, sometimes. Yeah, virtual. So they have like a virtual desktop built into. See that? So you could do that. I don't know if it just if you saw that or not, but that is something you can do on there. All right, let me see if I can figure out how to get this stupid thing flying.
That's going. Matthew Lake says that there was an update to Virtual Desktop recently that significantly improved latency. O says latency is amazing for me with Quest 1 and a good Wi-Fi 6 network.
Okay, I'll have to try that out. I don't have Wi-Fi 6 yet, so I'm gonna have to give it a shot on my Wi-Fi, my 5 thing here. But you can see like just how cool this looks, right? I mean, and I will say the 90 hertz now is noticeable here. It's running a lot smoother than it did on my other Quest headset. Isn't this cool? And again, the colors are off right now. I've got to adjust some of that, and it could just be I need to get my NVIDIA drivers updated. But it's cool. And again, this is a game where you're going to want to get used to VR motion a little bit, I think, before you start jumping into it, because it definitely will give you some sense of motion. But isn't this cool? Like you can look out in front of your ship. You've got the whole Star Wars thing there. As I move my throttle back and forth, you can see my arm moving there. You have all these cool controls, so you can set your shields to certain levels based on what you're doing in the game. I've got to relearn everything now because I've been so so delinquent in playing this. But it's just so cool to like jump into an X-Wing and get this experience. And this game, if you buy the PC version and you were playing it 2D, when you put the VR headset on, you suddenly get a VR version. The game will play the same in either mode. It's pretty cool. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like No Man's Sky. Like
yeah, it's a similar kind of experience.
Some of the debris in space are really cool. Yeah. It's more than
Here's
just
like an old Star Destroyer where you can fly around to that. And then of course like you can, I forgot how to summon the bad guys here, but you can hit one of these buttons here and get the, I'm trying to figure out how to get the guys to come after me. But you can summon a whole squadron of TIE fighters to come and get you. Here we go, deploy enemy squadron, there we go. Okay, so now we'll go and find the bad guys. They're over there. And we'll come down here. Is that looking okay to you, Jake, on your screen?
Yeah, it's coming in great.
All right, so here they come. And this will play Star Wars music and stuff, but I got hit with a copyright thing the last time I had Star Wars music playing for one of these games. And what's cool is that you can track them like I'm tracking here, you know what I mean? So it's so much better than the 2D experience. And then I can switch my weapon prioritization here so my weapons charge quicker. And you can just kind of keep them in view. And again, like if you're not used to this yet, you're going to want to kind of ease your way into this kind of experience because this is definitely going to give you a little bit of wooziness.
So do you have to have a separate controller like the one you're using?
You don't. It'll work with a game with an Xbox controller. But I found that the HOTAS setup really is the way to go with this because it's just so hard because like so you have your roll, your pitch, and your yaw, and it's hard to even with a twin stick Xbox controller, it was hard for me to get those controls kind of working correctly, especially with the throttle because I think they have like the throttle on the stick that also controls your roll. So here, like for my throttle, I have a physical throttle here that I can move back and forth, and then I've got the stick. So if I twist the stick, I can roll. And then if I go to the left and the right, it just feels like a more natural way to play this game. And that's true of pretty much any space fighter game. It's really much better with the throttle and stick situation. I still have to make some adjustments to it because it's not as precise as I want it to be right now, so I have to play around with that a little bit. But but such is the case with PC gaming. Like you're constantly adjusting things. But it looks good. And we're on a gaming laptop with an i7 and a 2080 Max-Q. It looks better on my machine upstairs. I got a 2080 Ti upstairs. I have like this great gaming setup that I never have time to use. But it gives you a sense as to how this works. And again, I'm sitting inside this X-Wing cockpit, and it's like super immersive. It's all 3D. I can like look at things really closely. And this is the difference between, here's like the key difference here. Like I see so much more detail in the PC VR games, especially when you look at something closely, because it has just more texture memory. There's more processing power with the GPU and the CPU, that the experience, when we talk about photorealism earlier, it just looks a lot more realistic. Like you can see a lot of the detail here. And this is not even at full settings on this particular laptop. So I don't know if you can see that, Jake, as I'm looking at closer at stuff here. It just looks, it looks worn, and it's got that real Star Wars kind of feel to it. That's the kind of stuff that you don't typically get, on something else. Now,
just real quick, I have a question myself. Do you think there's like a cutoff point where you can have too much GPU? Because with the new, the NVIDIA ones that are, you can't really get them, but
yeah, you can never have too much GPU. Like, I would say that's the case. Jump. Yeah, that's definitely the case. Michael in the Amazon chat is saying, where do you get the controller? So I actually have one linked in the product carousel down below. I've got the Thrustmaster. This is an older one, but it's still available today. This is called the HOTAS X. And they have a couple of versions of these, and I'll give you another view of it. Let me move the controllers out of the way. So this is an older one that was designed to work with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. But they have new ones that work with the new consoles. And then my understanding is that both of these that are available, there's an Xbox One and a PlayStation One. They also both work with the PC, and there's a switch on it somewhere. I think it's on the front. Yeah. So mine was a PS3 controller, but it also has a PC mode. So right now it's switched into PC mode. So there's a new version of this. I think I have it linked in the product carousel, and that works with the Oculus. So, or with this game, and a lot of other ones too. Flight Simulator works with this. I have a yoke upstairs, so when when Flight Simulator comes out on the PC side, we'll play around with that a bit as well. But yeah, it's probably the best way to play this game. So that's where we're going there. And I see some discussion in the YouTube chat here about stuff shipping. And I've been in one of those boats as well, because I've been waiting for my Xbox Series X to arrive. And I didn't get an email confirmation from the place that I bought it from, although I did get the FedEx confirmation, so I know mine's on the way. So maybe this weekend we'll do an unboxing of the Series X here on Amazon and on YouTube, if you're all up for that. So how long have we been going here, Jake? I think we're about almost 2 hours. Wow, good.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
So Michael, yeah, we have it linked right below. I don't know if they've got any in stock right now. I think there's one I've got linked on here called the T-Master. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, the Thrustmaster T-Flight, I think, is the one that's closest to the one that I have. Logitech has one also called the G Pro Max. Yeah, they're going to run you, $180, $200. They're not cheap. And I bought this one a while ago, but the good thing when you buy something that's PC compatible is that even when the PCs get upgraded, they tend to stay the same compatibility level. So yeah, I had this for a while, and I had been meaning to get to it for something, and I never got around to it, and I finally got around to it. So Michael, if you're watching the stream on Amazon, down below the video, there's a product carousel, and you should see it below the video there. Mario D says, so the Oculus Quest can connect to the PC. Yes, it can. In fact, it works great. Even the old Quest does. So you need to have the right cable. And the cable that I have hooked up right now is this Anchor USB-C to USB-A cable. I would suggest making sure you've got one that's USB 3 compatible. But you plug it in, and it becomes a PC headset. It works with Steam VR, as we were just playing around with there. There's still some flakiness here. I got to go through the settings because the color looked a little bit off to me. But so that's the only thing. You just got to look out for it. There are a number of resellers on Amazon who are selling these as Oculus Quest compatible. So you can probably get one for under $20. Facebook Oculus has a cable that's fiber optic that's a little bit longer. That's like the official cable. So that one will probably give you the least amount of trouble, but that should work for you there. All right. Well, Jake, I think are there any other questions that I missed here? I'm just trying to go through and make sure I didn't miss anything important. I appreciate you tuning in to help me out today. That's been helpful. So everybody, say hello to Jake. Let me get you repositioned.
Hello,
here.
everybody.
That's who you've been. That's been the voice behind the the face behind the voice. But
yeah, not just it's like the Wizard of Oz. Right.
And I was having Jake read those questions off to me because I was going to be stuck inside of this headset and I would miss a bunch of them. And every time I do one of these VR things, I always hate how I can't read the comments and respond to questions. So it's been great for that. Mario D says, so it isn't the same as the full PC version. So here's the deal on the Quest 2. And let me pull up my notes on this so I get everything correct in my numbers here. So the Quest 2 is now the only headset that Oculus is going to make at the moment rolling forward. So they've discontinued the Rift. You can still get a Rift, because the Rift was their dedicated PC headset. But this is the new one that they're going with here. So it connects to the PC through a USB cable. And this is not connecting through a direct video connection. It is compressing the video on your computer and sending a very low latency feed to the headset. Now, I am like average Joe consumer when it comes to the VR, and so I don't see that much of a difference in latency between this one and my HTC Vive that has a direct connection upstairs. But a lot of folks say to me, that there is a difference. So I don't see it, but a lot of other people might. So if you're a really serious PC VR person, get a PC headset. You just won't get an Oculus one because they're not going to be making them much longer. But the HTC ones are good. HP, believe it or not, has a good headset. Valve has one called the Valve Index. So there's a lot of choices on the PC side that you can still get a headset on. But what I like about the Quest is that you've got your standalone games that work just within the device itself, and then you've got the ability to hook it up to a PC to do it. So you do have options, and it works pretty good. It's been kind of a beta thing, so it's kind of beta-y, if that's a word. You know, it's not perfect. I certainly have more trouble with this than I do upstairs with the Vive. And typically what I'm doing for VR is I'm using the Quest when I'm doing VR stuff on the YouTube channel because I can have it plugged into my laptop. I don't have to set up a bunch of stuff, and I can sit in my chair here and do it. Michael's wondering, how do you show us what you see through the VR set? So the way I'm showing you is twofold. A minute ago when we were doing the Star Wars game, I just have the computer here linked up with my video system. So the output, the HDMI output, I'm basically mirroring out. So on the PC, when you're playing a VR game, typically the VR game will show up on the screen and you can send that out. On the Oculus Quest itself, on the standalone games, we were using a feature that it has that works with Chromecasts. So I have a little Google Chromecast down on the floor here, a little $35 Chromecast, and I can stream to that. So anything that supports Chromecasting will work with it. You can now stream to a web browser on a computer, Mac or PC, so you can also stream it that way. It might impact performance a little bit of the VR game itself, but I found that this one is having less of a problem. So you don't need a green screen or anything fancy. It'll do all the tracking. It's got onboard cameras here that it uses for all of its tracking, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. Ryan Plumley here says, I have very bad motion sickness and didn't have that with virtual desktop, so that's good. So maybe it does work. I'll have to give it a shot and play around with it a little bit more. Matthew Lake says that he finds the official cable better, more flexible and lighter, and it sits closer to the headset with a right angle connection. So I'm going to have to check that out. I've got one coming in. It's $80 for the cable. So what's crazy is I think I spent maybe like $10 on this cable, the Anchor cable that I've got here, and that works fine. But it's not as long. And of course, the Oculus cable is fiber optic. So it'll charge the headset through a copper cable that runs through it, but the data comes over a fiber optic connection, so it's a little bit more reliable. So yeah, so the link does take a bit to set up, as Daniel points out. It's not perfect yet, not by any stretch. So and look, here's my point. I think if you are looking at this and plan to do more PC gaming, then I would probably not get this one. If you are looking for more standalone gaming and then want to try the PC as a side bonus, then I think this is good if you're primarily looking to do this as a standalone. And hardware-wise, it's definitely an improvement. Now, I had this on for the last 90 minutes, and it was not uncomfortable at all. The other one was I would feel pressure on my face more than I felt with this one. The padding is nicer. It's lighter a little bit. It actually feels more comfortable to wear. And you can remove the shield here pretty easily. So you can get, if you've got people coming over, not that we do these days, but when you have people coming over again, you can buy a bunch of these little face shields and just swap them out and clean them, because they're pretty easy to pop out and replace. So that's been pretty nice. Armando wants to know about Xbox games. No, although some folks said they side-loaded the Xbox streaming service over. So you might be able to side-load that on and give it a shot. But yeah, I would say do not buy it specifically for Link. I think if you're, I'll probably put this in my review, if you're looking to buy this as a, if you're looking for a VR thing to start with, it's a great start. The software library is extensive. There's some great titles, a lot of really fun Star Wars stuff, and it works really well. And then you get the bonus again of the PC. But yeah, I would not buy this primarily as a PC headset. It's a little bit flaky on the Link thing still. So yeah. Michael has another good question on the Amazon chat about, yes, so people are doing these really cool videos where they kind of immerse themselves into the VR environment. I see a lot of Beat Saber stuff with that. I did a video on my YouTube channel with something like that a while ago, and it does require a green screen for that. In fact, some people are setting up like green screen cubes so they can shoot themselves from a bunch of different directions. And there's a package called, I have it on my computer somewhere. I think it's called, I'm going to find it real quick here because it's now going to be top of mind here. Let me scroll through my Steam list because I do have it in my Steam library. Let me filter this to just VR. I think it's called Live, L-I-V. And for games that support it, and Beat Saber is one of the games that supports it, you can set up a camera and a green screen, and then you can track the position of the camera so it renders your image in the game. It's really cool, but it's a lot of work to get it set up. So the people that are doing that are really into it. It does take some work to get that going. We did experiment with it. It didn't work all that great for me because I only have a single green screen. I didn't have like the ability to set up a cube because you kind of need that for the best experience. So I typically just show me walking around and kind of go from there. But yeah, good stuff. All right, well, Jake, thank you for helping me out today. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. And I want to thank Ken Driggers for your Super Chat contribution. Much appreciated. And we got, I think, all the footage I was looking to get captured so I can do the review on this very shortly. So that's great. And yeah, anyone else have anything for the good of the order here? I think we're good. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I got a video coming up tonight of a big boombox, Bluetooth boombox. So that's going up tonight. I've got a bunch of headset reviews that'll be popping up on the Extras channel tomorrow. So we're just going to keep cranking out stuff and keep those questions and comments coming in. All right, everybody. I will catch you all very soon. Bye-bye. Say goodbye.